wins that were hard to come by for the first 3.5 months of the season are coming more frequently for the Phils and in bunches since the start of the second half. Plays that make a difference in the outcome are being made, and the extra key hit is finding a place to land. The second half surge moves its way onto the deserts. Well, Jerome Williams was able to cap off the Phillies series sweep against the San Diego Padres. 7 effective innings. He said he was able to mix up his pitches. So what does that mean? He has a day to relax and maybe sign some autographs. Yep, we are in Arizona, Chase Field, for the Phils and the Diamondbacks game 1 of a 3-game series. Well, since the All-Star break, the Phillies series success has been evident. They have the best record in Major League Baseball. The only series they've lost was to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They took game 1 and then lost the next 2. Well, now they've started off this road trip in fine fashion, and they'll go for another series victory against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. We get set for game number 1 here at Chase Field, where the ball does generally fly out, and the Phillies are hoping that their offense, which has really taken a turn for the good since the All-Star break, will thrive here. They're also hoping that Chase Utley, who's starting at first base tonight, will thrive here in Arizona.
I think he will, the way he's been swinging the bat recently in the last couple of games. I know it's a small sample size, but Chase Utley is really looking a lot better, being more aggressive at the home plate, and he's getting some extra base hits. We see it off Tyson Ross going to left center, and when Chase is going badly, he's pulling. He gets pulled crazy, pulling everything to the right side of the field. But you see they're going to left field, down the line here for a pair, down the line again for a pair. So he is being more aggressive in his counts and being very selective and doing some damage.
Well, one thing Pete Buchanan said, he was going to get him some at-bats. He said it would be at a variety of places, and tonight it's at first base, where he's playing for the 28th time during his big league career. All right, well, the Phillies will also have to deal with the offense of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Phillies swept them earlier this year, but this is a very good offensive team. In fact, strong almost every category against right-handed pitchers since the All-Star break. Look what Peralta, Inciarte, the former Phil, A.J. Pollock, and Paul Goldschmidt have done. Goldschmidt has been unbelievable this year for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He sure has. And you never think that these righties would be hitting that well against right-handed pitchers. And listen, this is a ball club. We know it's hot in the desert, but so is this lineup for the Diamondbacks. It all centers around Paul Goldschmidt. He is a beast. And to say that, I think, Tom, is an understatement. He's more of a beast. He's unbelievable, and he's the heart of this lineup.
Not only does he play good defense at first, not only does he hit for power, but he also can steal bags. But look at the consistency in these numbers. 2 strike hits. He's first in the National League. I think that says a lot for a big guy like that.
He's a big guy, but he's not afraid to let the ball get deep, take his base hits to right field. He'll go to center field or go to left. He's just flat out a very good hitter.
Well, and of course he plays here in Arizona. Some people think that that's the reason why everybody in Major League Baseball doesn't look at him all the time as an MVP candidate, but he certainly is. So it is game 1 of this 3-game series, the Phils and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tonight it'll be Aaron Harang making his 20th start of the year here in the big leagues, and for the Diamondbacks, Ruby De La Rosa, who's been pretty good for them. 9 wins, making his 23rd start. Well, defense has also been important for the Phils during this stretch. Yesterday, how about Cody Ashley? He went up over the wall to pull this home run back. Shocking how the ball carried yesterday in San Diego. The series opener is coming up next. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Where will Toyota take you? Visit buyatoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. By Citizens Bank, one deposit checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. for the Phils. They take on the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team that they faced earlier this year. And Greg Murphy, in case people don't remember, the Phillies actually handled the Diamondbacks pretty easily.
They had some pretty good success against the Diamondbacks indeed, Tom. You'll remember, they weren't necessarily playing very good baseball at the time. It was mid-May, but they had just come off 2 wins against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Diamondbacks came to town. And, well, things continued to go well. It was a first winning streak of the season. Game number 1, they were trailing 3-1 in the 7th, but Freddie Galvis with the base hit there, 2-run single. That tied up the game as Cesar Hernandez with the great slide coming in to score. And then Jeff Francoeur added to it with the base hit right down the line. That put the Phils in the lead, and they end up winning the first game 4-3. So go ahead to game number 2, and the Phils got out in front early. Jeff Francoeur once again, this time putting one over the wall to give the Phils an early lead. He crosses the plate, and the Phils would go on and win this one. Ryan Howard getting into the action as well, a 2-run double for him. And the Phils were able to hold on and win this one 7-5. That was game number 2. So game 3, well, that was Maikel Franco's coming out party. There he is, his first major league triple. Off the wall, he'll end up at third base. Darren Ruff would score. And then why not add to it with your first major league home run? Maikel Franco doing the damage in that game. The Phils won that one 6-0, and they swept the Diamondbacks right out of town in the middle of a 6-game winning streak early in the season. Now they're playing some pretty good baseball, guys, and hoping to do the same this time on the road.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We'll get set for tonight's ballgame. The Phillies lineup brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Utley, Hernandez, and Herrera, followed by Franco, Brown, and Ashe. In the bottom third of Freddie Galvis, Carlos Ruiz, and Aaron Harang. And they will face right-hander Ruby De La Rosa, the 26-year-old from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He's 9-5 on the year, an ERA of just over 4.5. He'll be making his 23rd start of the season. So he's ready to go. Chase Utley is ready to go, starting tonight at first base. The first pitch of the day is in there for a strike, so we're underway. It's 0-1.
So we take a look at Ruby De La Rosa. Loves pitching here, 6-1 and getting a ton of run support. He has given up 24 home runs. He's a 4-pitch pitcher, but he's got a very, very live arm.
He has faced the Phillies before, but it was when he was with the Los Angeles Dodgers. It was some time ago. He went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, walked 5 in that game. No balls, 2 strikes to Chase Utley. It'll be Utley, Hernandez, and Odubel Herrera to start the top of the first. That one is popped up. Right behind second base, Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, is under it. 1 away. Time now for our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, I don't like to be scared, but this guy scares me. All that glitters is gold. Picking up Paul Goldschmidt, he is as good as it gets, leading the National League in hitting. No walks for Aaron Harang tonight. Last time he had 5 walks, so he needs to limit that and keep the O in Odubel. Keep O in the offense.
Odubel Herrera's hit in 12 consecutive games. Here's Cesar Hernandez, who takes outside. Hernandez 287 with a home run and 26 runs batted in. Batting second is his most productive spot. He'll bloop this one down the left field line. Running in is Peralta, and he'll get there. 2 outs here at the top of the first. And here is Odubel Herrera.
Center fielder, number 37, Odubel Herrera.
Odubel, 5 for 15 in the series against the Padres. And during this 12-game hitting streak, you see what he's hitting, 377. Fastball just a bit low, 1 ball, no strikes. Ben, it's awfully quiet here at Chase Field.
Crickets. It's kind of an eerie feeling.
It is. Off the end of the bat, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think we have a good chance of getting a ball here, Tom.
Yeah, this is a good vantage point. He's got to get over that screen, though.
This is true.
One and two to Herrera. That was the slider from Ruby De La Rosa. De La Rosa, originally a free agent signing by the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2007. And a foul tip and hung on to by Castillo. And the easy 1-2-3 top of the first inning for Ruby De La Rosa. So we go to the bottom of the first. Aaron Harang getting ready to go to work when we return to Chase Field. Baseball recently. They're 54 and 56 overall. Let's take a look at his lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Phils. Pollock, Lamb, and Goldschmidt, followed by Peralta, Castillo, and Yasmani Tomas. The bottom third of Owings, Ahmed, and De La Rosa. Aaron Harang getting ready to throw his first pitch. It's inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Aaron on the year 5 and 12. 116 innings for Harang. Fly ball to right field. It's pretty well hit, but Dominic Brown is on the edge of the track and makes the catch. Yeah, there's one out. There are the particulars on Harang.
Third baseman.
Spent about a month on the disabled list with plantar fasciitis, an injury to his foot that seems to have healed. Said it bothers him every once in a while.
He will give up some hits, but as we take a look at the scouting report, he'll sit at right around 89, 90 miles an hour. He's a 5-pitch pitcher. I'd like to see him get that breaking ball a little bit more involved, but as I said, one of the keys, he has to eliminate the walks, especially in this ballpark, especially to this lineup. 5 walks last game. Couldn't cut it.
One of the other keys for the Phillies starters is going deep into the game. They've averaged in the first 3 games of this road trip 6 innings plus. Topped off yesterday by Jerome Williams, who went 7. Jake Lamb fights off the 0-1. It's no balls and 2 strikes. That one nearly hit him and came inside off the glove of Carlos Ruiz.
Don't know how it didn't hit him. They try and get it inside. I mean, that's right at his belt buckle and gets out of the way.
Two balls and 2 strikes.
That really was a big boost for that bullpen yesterday and what Jerome Williams did, and he did it easily. And he looked like he would, hardly broke a sweat out there.
Yeah, Pete McCann said he probably could have let him go out there and even pitch the 8th inning, but he felt like he had done enough. 2-2 pitches hit back toward the middle, and that'll be a base hit for Jake Lamb. So the first hit of the night goes to the Diamondbacks. During the 2015 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Well, 1 out now. Paul Goldschmidt is coming up. Goldschmidt is 3 for 11 on the current homestand for the Diamondbacks. He is 6th all time in home runs for Arizona with 105.
79 RBIs.
79 RBIs, but also 19 stolen bases. I mean, this is a big guy to have stolen 19 bags. In fact, he's 1 stolen base away from becoming the first baseman since 2003 to have at least 20 stolen bases in a year. In the dirt, 2-0. That was Derek Lee who did it when he was with the Marlins.
D. Lee.
I was kind of surprised at when I saw that.
You're watching them take a little bit of infield today before they start their batting practice. He was at first base, in the first base dugout. He's got some forearms on him. You hit with your hands, and he's got some strong hands and strong forearms.
That one has popped up on the right side. Chase Utley's first opportunity as a first baseman. He puts it away. 2 outs.
Left fielder, number 6, David Peralta.
Well, David Peralta is now coming up. There's Ryan Howard, who has tonight off. He will play tomorrow. Pete said that on this road trip he is trying to get everybody at least a day off. With the off day on Thursday, figures that will do them some good. David Peralta yesterday had 5 hits. That tied a franchise record for hits in a game.
I'd be happy if I got 5 hits in a month.
Well, he had 5 hits yesterday. He's 18 for his last 40. That's pretty darn good,
I'd say.
Outside, 1-0.
Very surprised at how fast this place cooled off today. When we were on our way over, we got to the park. Roof was open. We got in, went down the dugout. You could start to feel the fans working already.
100 degrees outside at game time. 78 degrees inside. Outside again. 2 balls, no strikes.
Dry heat, Tom. Dry heat.
Whether it's dry or not, it is hot. Here are the vents that Ben's talking about. Pumping it in. Fly ball to left field. That's pretty well hit. Ashe going back to the track, has room, and he makes the catch. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've played our first inning here in Arizona. Is when the series kicks off. All 4 games begin at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Mets are currently in first place in the National League East. They won tonight against the Colorado Rockies. Washington is in Los Angeles, so they will get underway in about 20 minutes or so. Here's Maikel Franco to lead it off. Franco hitting .274. Franco was 0 for 12 in the series against the Padres, so he was happy to get out of San Diego. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike to him. Murph mentioned the last time the Phillies faced the Diamondbacks was Maikel's coming out party. He had 3 hits, including his first major league home run and triple.
I'll tell you what, if De La Rosa gets that pitch all night, it's going to be a long night for the Phillies offense.
Swinging a foul ball, and it remains 1-2.
I can't really put my finger on it, what I'm seeing out of Maikel right now. He starts with kind of an open stance, and he does like a little toe tap, but it seems like that front foot is staying even more open when he lands. And I don't think he's able to get to that outside pitch. Now in BP today, and I know it always doesn't translate, but he did a better job of working up the middle, working the right center. But you see his front foot there, and it just seems like it's going more towards the third base line when he's done his stride.
Well, that one's inside the third base pad, going down the left field line. Peralta's getting to it quickly, but Franco is on his way to second, and he's there standing. Now, in that case, it was an inside pitch, so it didn't harm him that he would step that way.
It was an inside pitch, and he didn't use any stride. You watch the front foot here. He lifts his heel, and it comes down in the same spot. Kind of a la Albert Pujols. A lot of guys are going this technique. Paul Goldschmidt, no stride. Able to get to that ball, clear his hips, and let his hands work.
Now, is that to give themselves more time when there's 2 strikes?
I think it just shortens your swing up a little bit.
Well, that doubled the 22nd of the season for Franco. It ties him for the rookie lead with Odubel Herrera. Dominic Brown takes strike 1. It's 0-1.
Again, this is one of those situations, well, you have to move him to third. You have to move him to third. I know he's not the fleetest of foot out there, but see if you can drive him in. Drive him in yourself. It's only the second. His team's been swinging the bats well.
Low it in. 1 ball, 1 strike. See the numbers for Dominic this year: 4 home runs, 22 runs batted in. He had a home run in the series against the Padres. It was his only hit. He was 1 for 8. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul tip, 1-2. Good luck at McDonald's. Phillies home run jackpot contestant is George Lawson, a Booth win. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. The big George will win $100.
Good luck, George. Booth win is right down the street from me.
Well, you can maybe deliver the $100 to him.
Far right.
That one's pulled foul.
So this is where you do have 2 strikes. Now you do everything in your power to move that runner over.
Crew chief Bill Miller is behind the plate for tonight's game. Doug Eddings is at first. Jim Wolf at second. Adrian Johnson is around at third. Off the end of the bat, out towards shortstop. Picked up by Ahmed. And he throws out Dominic Brown.
Nice play there by Ahmed. Ball spinning to his right. Maikel Franco, rule of thumb, if it's hit to your right, you don't advance. But Ahmed gets to that ball. Very quick catch and release. Get Dom at first. That was a good play here. I'm telling you, this is a lot harder play than you think. It's not hit that hard, so he knows he has to get rid of it in a hurry. Gets him by a stride.
He rushed that throw over there, too. Here's Cody Ashe. He was launching him during BP today out toward right field. Cody with 6 home runs and 21 runs batted in. He's hit in 4 straight games. Had 3 hits in the series against the Padres. Outside, 1-0. De La Rosa is having a solid year with some of the sabermetric numbers. The walks per 9 innings, they're down compared to past years. He's only averaging a little more than 2 walks per game. Last year he was averaging close to 4 walks per game. And his strikeouts per 9 innings, they're up also. He's averaging just under 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. But one thing that Mike Harkey has talked about over the last month or so is his whip. The walks and hits per innings pitched, 1.28. That's pretty low. That one's popped up. Out in shallow center field, Ahmed, the shortstop, makes the catch. Now, the Phillies have been very productive in these situations in recent games. Not here, though, in this second inning. Here is Freddie Galvis, switch hitter batting left-handed. Murph, we've also noticed that his changeup has been very good, which sort of offsets the left-handed hitters.
Well, yeah, you know, when you look at De La Rosa's numbers this year, as you mentioned, they have been pretty good. You know, you skip past the win-loss, but you take a look at what he's done against right-handers, against left-handers. He's done a very good job against right-handed batters this year. They're batting just .212 off of him, 7 home runs and 20 RBIs. But the left-handers is where he's really getting himself into trouble. Lefty's batting .305 with 17 home runs against him already this year. It's a total for 24 home runs. That's 3rd worst in the National League. So being a victim of the long ball is as well as De La Rosa, but obviously that's why Pete Mackanin has loaded up the lineup with left-handed batters. That's who's doing the most damage against De La Rosa this year.
1 ball and no strikes to Freddie Galvis. He takes a strike, 1-1. That was like a off-speed pitch toward the outer edge. See what Freddie's done his last 33 games. The Phillies, since the 21st of July, hitting .377 with runners in scoring position. That includes the 0 for 2 in tonight's game. Ground ball right side. Diving stop Goldschmidt. He'll throw to first. De La Rosa's there. And he just saved a run for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's the best at first base in National League Baseball in defensive runs saved. And he just did it there. On Braun, weekday mornings from 6 until 8 over on the Comcast Network. We're going with last names now. Bottom of the second inning, the Phillies and the Diamondbacks scoreless. Well, it's not the crew of over 100 that were in San Diego, but there are a number of Phillies fans that have found their way down the first base line. Impressive that they knew they were on TV.
Murph probably told him.
Yep. So he's giving it away. Here's Wellington Castillo, who will lead it off. It'll be Castillo, Yasmani Tomas, and Chris Owings. That one's in there. It's 0-1. Castillo with his third team this year. He was with the Cubs. They traded him to the Mariners. And the Mariners traded him here to Arizona. He's not necessarily the best defensive catcher out there, but he can hit, and he's been really good for the Diamondbacks.
I actually don't mind him back there. He's got strong hands. You can see that when he catches the ball, he sticks it nicely.
Out to right field, Dominic Brown tracks it down. So one away here in the second. And Yasmani Tomas will be the batter.
Right fielder, number 24, Yasmani Tomas.
Diamondbacks signed Yasmani Tomas this past off season out of Cuba. A lot of folks wondered if the Phillies were going to be in on the mix for him. I think a lot of people just didn't know where he'd play if they signed him. Is he a third baseman? Is he an outfielder? Is he eventually a first baseman? He's a big guy. He's had a decent rookie year. 6 home runs, 39 runs batted in.
You would think he'd have a few more than that. I know he hasn't been up the entire year, but he's a good ballpark to hit in.
0-1 pitch to him. Chopper right side. Chase Utley makes the play, and they're 2 outs. Well, speaking of Chase Utley, it's time for our Geico quote of the day. Phillies obviously have been playing better, and what his thoughts are, I think guys are playing with confidence at this point. I think the more games under your belt, the more plate appearances, the more time in the mound, the more confidence you can build. So obviously at 100 some odd games into the season, you can see that confidence coming out of a lot of the guys. It is true.
Winning is a cure-all for everything.
You sounded like that guy from The Natural.
Well, he was the antithesis of that.
Yeah. Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. That psychiatrist.
Losing is a disease. As contagious as bubonic plague. What a movie.
1 ball, 1 strike. To Chris Owings. Well, before the break, Phillies had 29 wins. And you just look at the numbers, the run differential, they were minus 160. After the break, a little different story. Liner out to left field. Cody Ashe venturing back. It's over his head. A 1-hop off the wall. And that'll be a double for Chris Owings, who had 1 hit in the series against the Cincinnati Reds, but it was a dandy. And he picks up his 16th double of the year.
Pitch is center cut. He doesn't miss it. Tell you what, Cody spent a lot of time out there in left field today, and I think he's been trying to get more work in each ballpark he goes to, try and learn the nooks and crannies. I mean, here there's really only 1 nook out there in left field, but you know, he spent a lot of time out there chasing balls down, playing them off the fence. Best way you can do that is during batting practice.
Nick Ahmed, the batter, 225 hitter.
You know, Sammy hits those fungos every day, but it's not the same as the bat coming off, the ball coming off a bat during BP or in the game.
Ground ball to third. Michael Franco gobbles it up. And Chase Utley handles the throw. Side is retired. 5-3 on the putout. Diamondbacks leave one as we leave for the third. Fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Ben, who are the only Diamondbacks in history with a 300 or better average in back-to-back seasons?
Only 2 Diamondbacks in history with 300 or better average in back-to-back seasons.
Maybe you can go down and ask John McCain. He watches a lot of the Diamondbacks games. He'd probably be able to help you out.
I sure would love to.
Here's Carlos Ruiz to lead it off. Carlos hitting .214 with 2 homers and 18 runs batted in. Great numbers against the Diamondbacks. And a high fly ball to deep left center field. Peralta on the run, and it's off the base of the wall. And Peralta bobbles it for a moment. Ruiz, though, oh, he did. He's going to try for it. He's going to third. He's going to get there sliding.
Think he's not?
No, I didn't think he was going to. He started to stop at second base. So that's a leadoff double, and I think an E7 to allow him to go to third. 11th double of the year for Carlos.
Swing. Level. Handsy. I think Chooch sometimes he uses the big muscles in his arms sometimes, and I think it really slows down his bat. That time it was handsy, quick. He got to that pitch with ease.
Well, the infield is in for Aaron Harang. Harang hitting .194. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Get it started, Aaron.
6 for 31 on the year. He's trying, Ben. 0-2. A piece of it, and it remains 2 strikes to Harang. Swing and a miss. He gets him with a breaking ball. Second strikeout for De La Rosa. Yeah, that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. Utley popped out his first time up.
See the infield not totally drawn in. They're not totally committed to eliminating this run at home plate. I think a lot has to do with that, with Carlos's speed at third base.
Yeah, they give themselves a few extra steps just to brace themselves, and even if Carlos goes on contact, if the ball's hit hard enough, they'll still have a chance to come home with it.
I don't know how this one, is going to end, obviously, but I really like De La Rosa's stuff. He's showing me some stuff out there, swing and miss stuff.
That one's looped out to center field. Pollock is under it, makes the catch. Ruiz is tagging. The throw is lofted high in the air, not in time. A sac fly, and the Phils take a 1-0 lead. All because of Carlos Ruiz. He took a chance once the ball was bobbled in left center field, and he got to third, and that sets up the sac fly.
Well, you're absolutely right. This is a good piece of hitting by Chase, staying in the middle of the field. Gets a changeup, I believe, and it's up. Doesn't try and do a whole lot with it. Pollock just airmails it home. I mean, Harang would have bunted Chooch to third anyway, but that's not a given. Bunting against a guy like this isn't easy.
Cesar shows bunt. He did not offer at it, according to Adrian Johnson. Out of play, 2-1. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box.
See.
Line drive, base hit it to left field for Cesar Hernandez. Fifth hit of this road trip for Cesar.
Was that pretty or what?
Nice swing.
I mean, pretty.
And that'll bring Odubel to the plate.
Center fielder Odubel Herrera.
Home runs are cool, but taking a pitch and hitting it the other way with force, I don't know what Tony Gwynn did for his entire career. I mean, that is just, it's a talent, it's a knack. Great swing there by Cesar.
So he'll lead off first base with 2 men down. You may see him try to challenge Wellington Castillo here.
Dugout having a little fun.
You got some helpful people there. Odubel's 12-game hitting streak is not the longest for a rookie this year. In fact, Billy Burns has hit in 15 consecutive games for the Oakland A's. The longest hitting streak for a rookie in baseball history is 34 games by the guy we saw this past weekend in San Diego, Benito Santiago. In fact, they showed highlights of that hitting streak. I had forgotten that he was a rookie when he did that.
Yeah.
This is, though, the longest hitting streak for a rookie for the Phillies since Marlon Byrd's rookie season. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a throw over to first, and Cesar's back. Cesar will take a moment. That one's hit off the hands, and a base hit to right center field. Cesar on his way to third. It's backhanded by Tomas. Mizarok will hold him at third base, and it's a 13-game hitting streak for Odubel Herrera. Now the Phils are still cooking here at the top of the third.
Third baseman, Michael Franco.
He's a strong little man.
He is.
I mean, this pitch gets in on him, but he's strong enough where he can fist that ball up the middle. May have broken his bat. Didn't sound real crisp off the bat from here, but still hits it hard enough to get it past the second baseman.
So he's at first. Cesar in scoring position over at third. Mike Harkey, the pitching coach for the Diamondbacks, out to the mound. I think he's pretty emphatic with whatever he's saying.
Very unlike Hark. There's not a nicer man on the planet, Mike Harkey.
Is he taller than you are?
He's a big boy. He might be. He's such a great person. Really is. But he did look pretty emphatic there, didn't he?
He did. He said something to Castillo as he went out, and then started the conversation with De La Rosa. All right, so here's Franco. He doubled his first time up. Phils lead it 1-0, looking for a little bit more. Fastball 0-1. 95 on that one. Oh, 2. Runner goes from first. The 0-2 pitch is chopped toward third, picked up by Lamb. Side is retired. Phillies, though, do get a run on the sac fly by Chase Utley. They lead 2. Middle of the third. It's 1-0. Phillies on top. By your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer or visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by McDonald's. Double the love it at McDonald's with a double cheeseburger and small fry for just $2.50. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Well, we begin the bottom of the third inning. And Ruby De La Rosa will lead it off. He'll take a strike, 0-1. De La Rosa hitting under 100. Pulls that towards short. Charging Galvis. He's got it. Good strong throw. One away. The Phillies' Wives Healthy Recipe Cookbook, featuring 36 favorite tasty recipes from the players and coaches, is available at the Majestic Clubhouse store. It's $19.99. It benefits Phillies charities. You can also get it by calling 877-GO-PHILS or going to Phillies.com. One away. A.J. Pollock is the batter. Pollock has reached base safely in 30 of the last 32 games for the Diamondbacks. Swing and a miss. Not here, though. Second out of the inning. First strikeout for Aaron Harang. And with 2 outs, Jake Lamb's coming up.
Breaking ball here. Maybe been a changeup. I think the bottom just fell out of it. You didn't see that hump or the lateral movement that you would see either in his breaking ball and his curveball or his slider. I'm thinking that's straight change.
He was trying to get the attention of Chase Utley there for a moment. Chase was doing a little manicuring over on the first base side. There's a liner down the right field line. That'll be an extra base hit for Lamb. A one hop off the fence. Dominic Brown bobbles it for a moment. Lamb's thinking about going to third. He's around second, and the ball is bobbled by Cesar Hernandez. And it'll turn out to be an extra base hit. And the D-backs have a runner at third with 2 men down. Well, I think just like Ruiz, it's going to have to be a double and an E9. The ball went off the glove of Dominic Brown.
Yeah, really the only tricky area in the ballpark, just the same down the left field line. Dom just has a tough time getting to it.
Well, they've scored that a triple.
Huh. Speaking of cooking, maybe a little home cooking.
I guess so. It was kind of the same play as the one to Carlos, but give Lamb his 5th triple of the year. Here's Paul Goldschmidt. 1 ball, no strikes to Goldschmidt. He popped out his first time up. Breaks his bat, and it's a 1-1 game. Single to right field. That RBI is the 80th of the year for Paul Goldschmidt. And that'll bring David Peralta to the plate. Well, not a surprise, Murph, that Goldschmidt was able to connect there to pick up an RBI single.
No, not at all. 80 RBIs at this time of the season. He just year after year continues to fly under the radar and have terrific seasons. You know, he recently was in a 3-for-27 slump, but they were not worried about him. It prompted their chief of baseball operations, Tony La Russa, to tell Chip Hale, the manager, he said, hey, look, even Frank Sinatra has to clear his throat every once in a while. And so he said, I'm not worried about Paul Goldschmidt, and obviously he has turned things back around. So, yeah, he is very well respected in this organization, as well he should be.
Well, he just tied this ball game up at 1. Peralta standing in with a runner at first base. You have to keep an eye on Goldschmidt. We mentioned 19 stolen bases. Three for 27. That's nothing for a guy like that. That didn't even put a dent in his batting average. Ground ball foul. Dave McKay.
Playing Ryan Klesko, 2000-2001, had 23 stolen bases each year. Now Ryan Klesko was a big first baseman. I think he may have been a little bigger than Paul Goldschmidt, but he got some bags.
Yeah, Derek Lee also is a big guy.
Yes.
2 balls, 1 strike.
You think of him as big lumbering first baseman. No. You don't pay attention to him.
Well, he's got a pretty good sized lead off first right now. Off the foot of Harang, and that'll be a base hit into left field. Goldschmidt's on his way to third. And now the D-backs have runners on first and third with 2 men down. Well, it's unfortunate that it hit Aaron's foot because I think Freddie would have been able to field it up the middle. But you see how hard it was hit because it deflected pretty easily into shallow left field.
Yeah, they're pretty hard feet not to miss. He's got some big old dogs on him. But you're right. With this defensive alignment, you can see right there that Freddie's going to get to that. Have an easy force play at second base on Paul Goldschmidt. Well, this escalated quickly, didn't it, Tom?
Sure did, with 2 outs. Wellington Castillo lined out to right field his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Foul ball, 0-1. Trying to stop the damage right here. Good play by Ruiz to get his body in front of it. And the count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Very good play. Watch how quickly he moves laterally. You always have to expect it, though. Always on the balls of your feet. And you know a breaking ball is coming, so it could be in the dirt.
So at a Major League scoreboard, the Nationals have taken a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. Ian Desmond, a 2-run home run. Nationals trail the Mets in the division. The Dodgers were just swept out by the Pittsburgh Pirates this past weekend. They played the Sunday night game last night in Pittsburgh and then zipped home for tonight's series against the Nationals.
That game was explosive. I remember talking to my wife. It's 5-1 Dodgers.
Yeah, I thought it was over.
Next thing you know, it's 12-5.
Yeah, I thought it was over.
Pirates.
Alex Wood, that was part of the problem, is that he threw so many pitches that he couldn't last in the game. Runner goes from first. 1-2 pitch and a strike 3 called. And the inning is over. The Diamondbacks do tie it up on an RBI single by Paul Goldschmidt. We have played 3 onto the 4th in a 1-1 game. 3M super sticky post-it notes, available in a world of colors and ideal for the most hard to stick surfaces. Personally delivered to your desktop for free by who but WB Mason. Sticky notes are important. In fact, we have them a lot in our business. Russell, our statistician, does not have them tonight, but many do. Carl Graber, our statistician at home, has them all over the place. I mean, all over the press box back in Philadelphia. We go to the top of the 4th inning. And it is a 1-1 game. Dominic Brown will lead things off. Dominic grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Dominic has 14 RBIs in his last 15 games. You know, part of that success is because of the home runs that he's been able to pick up. Foul tip. Inside, 3-1.
Better take there by Dom. A little more quiet with that landing foot, with his stride foot. Should get something good here to hit. 3-1 count.
He was late on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That's a tough pitch. That ball was driving down. De La Rosa from the Dodgers to the Red Sox to the Diamondbacks. One pulled up the first baseline foul. It remains 3-2. He was part of the Wade Miley trade. Miley went from here to Boston. And De La Rosa came over from the Red Sox. He was also involved in that huge mega trade between the Red Sox and the Dodgers, where Josh Beckett, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, they were shipped out to LA. Low ball 4. Dominic Brown draws a walk.
Stupid. 94 to 96, and he throws a 91-mile-an-hour. I guess that was a cutter or slider for ball 4. You need to walk the leadoff guy. Dom sitting dead red on a 3-1 count and can't catch up to a 94-mile-an-hour heater.
I think those guys are thinking the same thing that you're just talking about.
Lord. That's it. As a catcher, you got this. No, you're not. You're not throwing that pitch.
Cody Ashley's now the batter. He popped up his first time up. Cody lifts it foul down the left field line and out of play. It's 0-1. Now the other part of it was the catcher. Did he call it and he just agreed with it?
I hope not. Because I think Hart needs to have a sit down with both of them.
Just wonder if Cody was going to call time anytime soon, because there was a long wait. Dominic does not have a big lead over at first. He has stolen 3 bases this year. Inches off a little bit more. Good changeup, and it's 0-2. Tried it again. This time it fades outside. 1-2. Phillies' offensive numbers continue to be among the leaders in baseball since the All-Star break. Batting average is third at .277. The run differential, which we showed you before, plus 37 since the break. In tight. And now 2-2. Pete Buchanan was talking today about the runs per game. He said 5.24 runs per game. He said that's why the pitching staff has been better, because those guys realize, all right, if I give up one or two, we still have enough in the tank where we're going to come back.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Three balls, two strikes. Freddie Galvis on deck.
Now let's see what they do here. Same situation, full count. Cody has struggled with the changeup tonight, but I'm throwing 96. A little bit of movement. I'll take my chances.
Oof. He did throw 94 there.
Good one to hit, though. This is the one you're looking for. Got a little run to it, but I'm sure Cody wishes he had that one back.
On the inside corner. And Ashley's down looking. Third strikeout for De La Rosa. It's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag PhillyPhotoDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll show you that photo a little later on in the telecast. Banana Cat, the dangle hat, making an appearance here in Arizona. Can't wear that outside, though. It's just way too hot. Freddie Galvis, the batter. Galvis grounded out his first time up. Pulls that one. Diving stop by Goldschmidt. Quick flip to second for one. Over to first. Man, that is a stellar double play. 3-6-3. And the side is retired. Well, he's robbed the Phillies of some hits already in this ball game. He's also gotten a hit to drive in a run. Phillies go down here in the fourth, and we'll move on to the bottom of the fourth. Visit buyattoyota.com to find out. Toyota, let's go places. By Jefferson, where health is all we do. Call 1-800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Well, with Ben Davis and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's a 1-1 game. We've already seen why Paul Goldschmidt is considered one of the best first basemen in all of baseball on a couple of different occasions. That double play that he just turned, I mean, he did that with ease. 3-6-3 double plays aren't generally done with ease. That was done with ease.
Yes, it was.
It'll be Tomas, Owings, and Ahmed here at the bottom of the fourth against Aaron Harang. That's a long one. That's going to be foul, but it's a really long foul ball. But that carrying right back to Cody Asher.
Well, he gets off the bag, makes a little dive, but see, he gives Ahmed a good throwing lane, gives himself a good throwing lane, then he gives Ahmed a good throwing lane, keeping it on that side of the bag so he's not going to get blown up by the base runner.
Their fielding percentage is among the leaders in baseball. In fact, they've made the second. They've only made 51 errors, which ranks second in the National League. Their 50 defensive runs saved, which is a sabermetric category, is tied for first with the Tampa Bay Rays. Chip Hale is, known for his teachings of infield defense. That is a towering shot to deep left field, and the Diamondbacks take the lead. A 2-1 lead thanks to the solo home run by Yasmani Tomas, his 7th of the season.
I just need to shut my mouth, Tom. Last at bat, I said, wonder why I'm surprised they didn't have more than 6 homers. I'll refrain next time.
Oh, that's a big home run.
Pitch up. Full extension. He let everyone in the ballpark know that he got it.
Here's Owings. He shows bunt, takes a strike, 0-1. Diamondbacks now with 98 home runs on the season, which is 8th in the National League. Grounded foul, and it's 0-2 to Owings. He doubled his first time up.
Very rarely will you ever see a foul home run followed by a fair home run in the same at bat. Almost never happens.
Ooh, that one just missed. 1-2. Four of his home runs have gone to left field. 3 of his home runs have gone to right field. So he's got power to all fields. And he misses down low, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to shortstop to his left, Freddie Galvis. He's up with it. Dug out by Chase Utley, 1 away. Tuesday night before the Phillies game, Aaron Nola talks about his transition to the major leagues. Ken Giles reflects on his new role as the team's closer. And we'll look back at a warm welcome for Jimmy Rollins in his return to Philadelphia. Phillies Clubhouse presented by Mercedes-Benz. Tuesday night at 8:30 right here on Comcast Sports Net. One out, and Nick Ahmed, who grounded out to third. His first time to the plate, will stand in.
Bill Miller seems more inclined to call the pitch away from lefties and in on righties than the pitch down and away to righties or in on lefties. That's what I've seen today.
Is it just part of his setup, you think?
It could be. Maybe just not seeing to that side of the plate, but that pitch seemed to be the same pitch as the pitch before. Aaron Harang had an 0-2 pitch on Owings the last at bat, which he didn't call. Aaron wanted it. Chooch wanted it.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the outside corner. That is a strike 3 call. 3rd strikeout for Harang. So Ahmed is rung up. He did not think so. And here comes De La Rosa.
But umpires are more inclined to give you a pitch if you're consistent in throwing it to a certain location. If it's really far off the plate, they're not going to give it to you, but it's a good pitch.
All right, now when you watch games, whether it be up here or when you're at home, and you see an umpire behind a home plate, do you remember their tendencies? I mean, do you remember what Bill Miller's tendencies are?
Honestly, I don't. I don't.
I bet you if they were American League and National League separate umpiring crews like it used to be,
yeah,
you might remember it a little bit more because you'll see guys more often.
I remember Bruce Fleming, old Brucey. He was very lenient. Cowboy Joe West, who's still around, very lenient, likes to keep the games moving.
Foul ball remains no balls and 2 strikes to De La Rosa.
Jim Wolf, who's at second base, Randy Wolf's brother. He can be lenient. Doug Eddings at first. He's a very good umpire.
Yeah, this is only the 2nd time the Phillies have had this crew in a series. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. And the side is retired. However, the Diamondbacks take the lead. They do so on a solo home run by Yasmani Tomas to start the inning. For Tomas, it was the 7th of the year. He had just hit one foul down the left field line, and this was a hanger, and he took care of it. He hit it deep over 400 feet to left field. So it's 2-1 Arizona as we move to the top of the 5th inning. Well, we're back here in Arizona as the Phils trail at 2-1. We'll go to the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Carlos Ruiz, Aaron Harang, and then Chase Utley. Carlos scored the only run for the Phils. He'll take one on the inside corner, 0-1. A double for Ruiz was the 11th of the season. Carlos fouls it at home plate, and it remains 0-2. to the right side. Goldschmidt has it. And he flips to De La Rosa, who grabs it with his bare hand. 3-1 on the put out, 1 away. And that'll bring Harang to the plate.
Pitcher Aaron Harang.
Well, I'm with you, Ben. I think this kid does have some good stuff. I mean, the ball moves every which way. I can't decide, though, whether he's established his fastball enough here tonight, or if he's mixed in all of his pitches. You know, a lot of times you want to, particularly for a guy that has 95 miles an hour, you want him to establish that fastball. Over to third, backhanded by Lamb. His throw is high, but handled by Goldschmidt. That was a fine play.
It was. I thought that ball was going to get down the line.
First baseman Chase Utley.
But he gets to it, gets the short hop. Knows he has a little bit of time with Aaron running.
Jake Lamb out of the University of Washington. He was drafted at a high school, didn't sign, and then went to college and eventually signed with the Diamondbacks. He improved his draft status by about 20 rounds. 2 outs for Chase Utley. Utley is 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Outside, 1-0. Ryan Howard taking tonight off, talking to Jorge Belandia, one of the Phillies coaches. He was added when Ryan Sandberg resigned.
Former teammate of mine.
San Diego?
Yes. Manos de oro. Hands of gold. Boy, did he have them.
2 balls, 1 strike.
I'm telling you, Tom, he had as good a hands as I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Ground ball. That's going to get through. A base hit for Utley. He may even think about 2. He's going to at least take the turn. So a 2-out single will bring Cesar Hernandez to the plate.
Ball in the gap. In a tie ball game.
Second baseman Cesar
Well, the Phillies
Hernandez.
have those hitters now coming up that can do that. Cesar singled his last time up. Inside, 1-0. Jorge Belandia played parts of 8 years in the big leagues. Now, he never played a full season.
Didn't have the best bat. Didn't have the fastest speed, but fielding wise, he's a guy that you would always want on the field. I mean, always make the fundamental play. Would make the acrobatic play, you know, when he could get to it. Just steady as she goes.
Utley thought about going, then stopped, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Cesar Hernandez. So he was with you in San Diego in '97?
Yeah.
Then he went on to Oakland, played for the Mets, played for Tampa, Toronto, Cleveland. In the air to left center field. On the run is Pollock out toward the alley. He's not going to get it. He'll take a hop off the base of the wall. Utley's around third, heading for home. Hernandez stops at second. It's an RBI double. And we are all tied up at 2.
Right on cue.
Boy, did he drive that the opposite way. Well, Murph talked about the success that lefties have against De La Rosa, and they're having it in this inning.
Stays connected with his back elbow. Stays through it and drives it the other way. Now this ball carries because he created so much backspin. Chase Utley, obviously with 2 outs, he's running as soon as that ball is hit. Chase making in. Didn't need to slide, but why not?
Yeah, ankle is totally fine for Chase Utley. So a 2-2 game. And here is Odubel Herrera. Herrera is 1 for 2. Singled his last time up to extend his hitting streak to 13 games. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Now when I say staying connected with your back elbow, Watch how he stays connected right through that backside there. His left elbow he never cast that bat out. That is a power position, and that's how he was able to create that backspin and drive the ball to left field.
Outside and low, 2-0. I wonder how careful De La Rosa is going to be here with Odubel Herrera with the righty on deck. It is Maikel Franco. Man, is he due.
Yep. There's another one out there. Go on and get it. We saw the Diamondbacks do this with 2 outs. Phillies just did it with 2 outs. Go on and get another one.
Three balls, no strikes. Odubel taking a look at the third base coach's box. Wondered if maybe he gets a green light here.
I didn't see Rock do anything out of the ordinary.
He gets the green light. He fists it out towards center. And the side is retired. 1 run does score, though, on the RBI double by Cesar Hernandez. So we'll move to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Arizona, all tied up at 2. Phillies Junior RBI League has been teaching kids how to play the game since 1989. Donate a baseball glove or two to the next generation of baseball greats at the Citizens Bank kiosk at Citizens Bank Park. At Citizens Bank, we want to help you bank better. So the next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. Middle of the 5th inning, A.J. Pollock will lead it off for the Diamondbacks. It's the first pitch to the alley in right center field. That's going to be an extra base hit. He can run. That might wind up being 3. Herrera bobbles it twice. It's going to be 3. Boy, look at the cutoff throw, too. It took Hernandez out to shallow center field.
Outfielders having a tough time picking these balls up out there.
A little bit. Well, it's at least a double. We'll see what the official score says. It should be an E8.
See, the first time he bobbled it, you could see him reaching for the ball and picking his head up. Have to make sure you catch it first.
Well, they do scored a triple. And that will bring Jake Lamb to the plate. Lamb has singled. He's also tripled. Did that his last time up. I think Carlos Ruiz should go back and get a recount for his double. about that throw by Odubel? I mean, Cesar, it took Cesar into center field with that throw.
I think he panicked after the second time he
bobbled.
He said he just heaved it. Just wanted to get rid of it.
Outside, and it's 3-0. Goldschmidt is on deck.
Watch where this throw goes.
He's fortunate that it didn't get away from Cesar. Little gimme strike there. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, a 4-hit shutout for Johnny Cueto in his first game as a Kansas City Royal pitcher in KC. Royals give him a 4-run lead, and he doesn't even blink. Ball 4, so that puts runners on first and third. So Lamb has been on base 3 times tonight. And here's Goldschmidt.
Now batting, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt has hit it to 10 double plays. The Phillies will set up for that. You can see the run if they can roll a double play. Foul tip, and it's 0-1.
Not the guy you want to see up right now, but you just have to make your pitches.
Whacks it foul. It's 0-2. I mentioned during the open he has the most 2-strike hits in the National League. Try to see if you can get him to go fishing here somewhere. Outside, he's not biting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Andy Green laying down the signs in the third base coach's box. Just a bit low. 2-2. This is start number 3 for Aaron Harang. He's coming off the disabled list.
Aaron's been in, out, in, out, in, out. I like to see him double up in a certain spot. Maybe go back inside here.
Well, he goes away, and it's 3-2. He's got Pollock over at third. And Jake Lamb over at first. With nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Just trying to stay alive. He tried to sneak a 92-mile-an-hour fastball toward the outer edge. Jerome Williams did a lot of sneaking yesterday. He was down. He told Murph after the game. He even said it on the plane last night on the way here to Arizona. Down, down, and down. And movement.
Changeup was great. Surprised Lamb's not off to the races here. You know, he's not a guy that Goldschmidt's not a guy that strikes out a lot. You just talked about his success with 2 strikes. Get him in motion. Maybe he's got a bum hammy or something we don't know about, but I think he should be in motion here.
Yeah, 85 walks, 97 strikeouts for Goldschmidt. This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat. So the number 3 hitter for Arizona. fly ball to right center field. Herrera on the run, and he'll get there. Tagging from third is Pollock. He'll score. It's a sac fly. 3-2, Arizona on top. Second RBI of the night for Goldschmidt. He's now 5th all time. And Arizona Diamondbacks history and runs batted in. He just passed Matt Williams. And David Peralta is going to be the hitter.
No, they do tie it up here, but to get away with that pitch to that hitter, if they can get out of this with just 1 run, I count that as a win. That ball should not have stayed in the yard.
No, I thought it was going to sail over the fence in right center field the way it left the bat. Peralta is 1 for 2. He flied to left field his first time up, singled his last time. That's his 6th hit in the last couple of games, and his 8th hit of this homestand. He's 8 for 13 in this homestand. He's also a guy that runs pretty well. Swing and a miss, way out front. I like that pitch. Out towards center field. Herrera's on the run. It's going to be over his head and off the base of the wall. Lamb stumbled coming around second. He's being waved home. The throw by Freddie Galvis cut off by Utley. They've got the runner now between second and third. A run does score. Let's see if the Phillies can complete this rundown. They do. And it's 4-2 in favor of the Diamondbacks. I really thought they had a chance to get the runner coming home. The chase cut it off, and they get the out. Give an RBI for Peralta. So 4-2 Arizona.
The only reason they do have a chance here is because Lamb does stumble coming around second base. You're right, though, Tom. I think they may have had a shot here. I don't know how that would have played out.
No, looking at that right now, Ben, I think that was definitely the right play. Because the throw was starting to sail a little bit.
Yeah. That throw may have gone up into the runner. I don't think so.
No, I don't think it would have had him.
So Chase does make the right play there. Aaron Harang showing some emotion there. That's something you very rarely see out of him.
Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Walking back towards the mound after backing up home plate. And you could see he was upset.
That's now 8 hits for the Diamondbacks. That one's popped up. Utley will give it a look. And it's out of play. 8-3-6-5-4 on the rundown if you are scoring at home. On the floor, Pete Buchanan chatting in the dugout. Again, out toward the alley in right center field. Herrera will not get this one. It is gone. A home run for Wellington Castillo. It's now a 5-2 ball game. 15th home run of the year for Castillo. Oh, what a nice easy swing.
He's got some thunder. For a righty to go up top there to right center.
sitting and watching it. He was hoping it wasn't going to carry all the way out, but it does.
Ball does fly here, but I think that's going to go out at just about any ballpark.
So now Tomas, he homered his last time up. He'll be out of play off the first base line, and it's 0-1. Rang with 21 pitches this inning. 5-2 Arizona. Hector Neris, Elvis Araujo walking around. They may be the first ones who start to loosen up. Got to play again, 0-2. Ball, 2 strikes.
Breaking ball tonight doesn't seem to have any bite on it. It's kind of just rolling up the plate.
Yeah, the best one he threw, I thought, was the first pitch to Peralta.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been able to duplicate that.
It seems like there's just no bite. It's just spinning.
Again out of play. That home run, by the way, went 431 feet.
Yeah.
That Castillo hit.
Well, it went directly above the 413 sign in right center.
Yeah.
So add that with how high he hit it up into this region. I mean, that's going to be at least that.
2-2.
Tell you the 1-2 pitch before that supposed to be down and away, right down the middle, belt high. That pitch supposed to be in, and he spikes it in the dirt. So, you know, he's definitely having some command issues right now with location.
Now, we mentioned he's coming back from plantar fasciitis. You wonder if there is still an effect on him, if there is still soreness from time to time.
I would doubt it. This is his 3rd start.
Yeah.
He's throwing sides in between. I'm sure he's still getting treatment on it, just precautionary or follow-up treatment, I guess you could say.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming here to Tomas, and he fouls it back to the screen.
I think he's not getting extension out over the ball.
Out toward left field. Going back on it is Ashe. He's got room with this one, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired, but 3-run score for the Diamondbacks. They got some pitches to hit, and they did not miss him. To open eyes of advanced scouts all around baseball. A slow start in May has turned into a sensational summer. Michael is swinging his bat with confidence and is piling up production. He's among all rookie leaders in home runs, doubles, and RBIs. Franco's other game has been on display as well, defending the hot corner at a high level with skill and precision. The Phillies' young third baseman has been a treat to watch, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Maikel Franco right on cue will lead things off as we go to the top of the sixth inning. The Phillies trail at 5-2. It'll be Franco, Dominic Brown, and Cody Ashe against Ruby De La Rosa. And a little bit of a pause into the start of this inning because A.J. Pollock had to go pick up a loose ball on the warning track in left center field. Phillies will have bullpen action as this inning gets underway. That ball is pulled foul according to Adrian Johnson. And it's no balls and one strike. Freitas was up with his glove in hand. Elvis Araujo's getting himself ready. That ball's hit well out towards center field. Going back on it is Pollock. It is gone! Wow! That's a long home run for Maikel Franco. It's a 5-3 ball game.
Good night.
13 home runs on the year. I mean, that's back on the concourse in center field.
It's like an airport here tonight. Talk about center cut, not getting cheated. Get your foot down early and let your hands work. Throw his hips at it.
Dominic Brown bloops one out toward right, caught by Chris Owings. And there's one away.
Dom smoked Castillo, the catcher. I mean, smoked him.
With the bat?
Yes.
Chip Hale comes running out. So does the Diamondbacks athletic trainer. That home run by Maikel Franco is an estimated 445 feet.
Big boy land. Watch the backswing here of Dom Brown.
Oh, that did get him pretty good.
Right in the side of the helmet. Castillo's a guy that's not very conventional in the fact that he wears his helmet forward.
Jared Saltalamacchia does the same thing.
A lot of guys do it to cut down glare. I thought it was a very uncomfortable feel. But this gets him again in the side of the head where there's not as much protection. You know, anytime in that temple region, you know, the side of your head there.
Amazing that it got him so square.
Yeah.
Well, with one man down, Cody Ashe's coming up. Phils have made it a 5-3 ball game. Diamondbacks do have bullpen action. They've got a left-hander up. Andrew Chafin is loosening up. Cody takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Off-speed pitch that's been troublesome for Cody here tonight. It's been a good one for De La Rosa to some of the lefties. There's Chafin. Do it again.
Wellington Castillo's home run supposed to have an exit velocity of 104. Now that was more of a high lofting fly ball. Franco's was a missile.
Yeah.
That was more of a line drive. I'd like to know what that was.
De La Rosa not happy about that call from Bill Miller.
I think he may have wanted that pitch.
Yeah. I don't think Bill Miller's all that happy that he turned around like that.
He'll probably get the next close one.
Inside 3-2.
Maybe Cody can get in the act here.
Yeah, this game is far from over. Particularly the way the ball is carrying here tonight. That's a fair ball past Goldschmidt down the right field line. It goes into the corner. I don't think anybody touched it. And Ashe pulls into second with a double. His 16th double of the year. I don't know how that ball stayed fair.
We don't have the best vantage point, but that took me by surprise. Good for Cody. Now this is not reviewable, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, over the bag.
Yeah, Doug Eddings was right on it. And that's why it's not reviewable, because it did bounce.
That's an out in front, roll me over double, and a thing of beauty.
Alvis takes a change up, and it's 0-1. Freddie is 0 for 2. He's hit into a double play. He's grounded out to Goldschmidt. So he's trying to get another run back here. They've scored one on the home run by Franco. Inside. A couple of times he's overthrown that fastball. There's DeFreitas loosening in the pen.
Yeah, that one had some ticked off on it.
Fly ball left center field, playable for Pollock. And there are 2 outs. That'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, some nice recognition for 2 Phillies minor leaguers today. Jared Eichhoff of the Iron Pigs, who just joined the Phillies last week as part of the Hamels trade, was named the International League Player of the Week. He had 2 starts this week. He allowed 1 run, including that 8-inning scoreless gem that he threw on Sunday. So congrats to him. And Andrew Knapp, what a story he has been. 23-year-old down there with Reading. He was the Eastern League Player of the Week. How about this? 15 hits in his last 25 at-bats. He's batting .403 in his last 34 games. He has been terrific for them. That is the 34 games since he's been promoted to Double-A. So he is batting .403 since being called up to Double-A Reading. So he continues to stay hot. He is the Eastern League Player of the Week.
That's incredible. 34 games that he's hitting .403.
Yeah, it's impressive for sure.
Former second-round pick by the Phillies.
Those are silly numbers in Little League.
Carlos foul tip. It's 0-2. Hey, you wonder if they'll give him a chance to move up to AAA before the end of the year. I say that only because he's handling offensively. Offensively, he's handling Double-A. I know they want him to get even stronger defensively, which he will.
Those numbers are alarming, though.
.403, .446 on base percentage, .694 slugging percentage, and an OPS of well over 1. 1-2 pitch to Ruiz, inside 2-2. De La Rosa was kind of hunked about that one too. That didn't look like a strike though. Two balls, 2 strikes to Carlos. Carlos hits it out toward right center field. On the run is Pollock, and he'll get there. Ball did carry pretty well. Side is retired. The Phillies do get a run back thanks to Maikel Franco. This ball was crushed to center field. Franco, his 13th home run of the year, and it's a 5-3 ball game as we go to the bottom. Stores go further and buy Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Last of the 6th inning, Aaron Harang goes back out there, trailing it 5-3. 5 runs on 9 hits for the Diamondbacks, 3 runs on 8 hits for the Phillies. Phillies have left 5, the Diamondbacks have left 4. This is game 1 of a 3-game series between these two teams. Night game tomorrow. David Buchanan will be on the hill for the Phillies. Jeremy Hellickson over from the Tampa Bay Rays will be on the hill for the Diamondbacks. Day game on Wednesday before the Phillies head to Milwaukee for an off day. Matt will be back with us in Milwaukee. Ben will be on radio. He'll be a radio guy.
Cheating on you.
Breaking ball is up and in 1-0 to Owings. After the week that Larry Anderson is having, he's going to need a few days off.
Poor fella.
Outside 2-0. Larry's having some back issues. I'm sure they've talked about it on radio, but that's only part of the story. He arrived in Arizona last night, wanted to go to bed, get comfortable. That one's fouled away. He goes into his room and somebody else is in there. It's not his room. He's got to go get a new room. And in his new room, somebody was in there too. A scorpion. 2-1 pitch. Ground ball toward third. Flag down by Maikel Franco. One away. Well, it's time now for the Jeep Stuff the Fans trivia quiz. Then the question is, who are the only Diamondbacks in history with a 300 or better average in back-to-back seasons?
I'm going to go 1, the current first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt is correct.
And then I thought it was going to be another first baseman, and I chose not to. I was going to go with Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez would be correct.
I was going to go with Gracie, Mark Grace, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with Gonzo.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack.
I tell you, Gonzo had some years here.
Robbie Ray, I believe, had a bubble on his hat that has burst, but the gum is still there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Did they ever do that to you?
I'm sure. Yeah, most likely.
Base hit it to center field for Nick Ahmed, so he's 1 for 3. Star Wars night will be Wednesday, August 19th, when the Phillies take on the Toronto Blue Jays. It's presented by Kohl's. Come dressed as your favorite Star Wars character and be entertained by Star Wars characters, music, movie, clips, and more. Go to Phillies.com/theme nights for more info and to order your tickets. Adam Lowen and Elvis Araujo warming up, two lefties. Jamie Romack is the pinch hitter for the Diamondbacks. So De La Rosa is done after 6 innings. That one's a line drive, base hit down the left field line, going to the corner. Ashe trying to get to it quickly. He does. They're going to wave the runner home. The throw to the plate by Freddie Galvis, too high. 6-3 Arizona, pinch hit double. Well, if the throw was down, they did have a chance to get Nick Ahmed. But it just sailed on Freddie Galvis.
Cody actually plays it right in left field, gets it to the cutoff man. Freddie just airmails it. Now Cody plays it well, like I said. Gets it to Freddie. Quick hop step.
Ooh.
But you're right. If it throws down a little bit more, it's not going to eat up as much time in the air. They might have had a shot.
Well, here's A.J. Pollock. Pollock tripled his last time up. Takes on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think Romack's looking at this game and thinking, you know what? I'm not seeing a whole lot of pitches inside. I can dive out there a little bit. He was a little bit out in front, but you can dive, still keep those hands back. Pitch he hit down the left field line. You know, when there's really not a whole lot of fear of getting busted inside, get out there a little bit.
Breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Jake Lamb is the on-deck batter. They may go get Harang after this batter anyway, with the 2 lefties. Well, actually now 1 lefty warming up. Hit foul, so that was pitch number 100 for Aaron Harang. You surprised he came out to pitch the 6th inning?
No, for the fact that he is leading off next inning, so they can go and just run a pinch hitter up there. Maybe that can fall into a double switch later.
Off the plate, over Harang. Galvis won't have a play. That'll be an infield hit. And runners on first and third.
Now I say no for that reason, but I'm looking at his stuff and what he may or may not have left in the tank. You know, I didn't see, especially after the last inning, they were squaring a lot of balls up. They weren't getting cheated. A very good approach against him tonight.
Well, that's going to be it, though, for Aaron Harang as Pete Maccannon's coming out. He's got the lefty Adam Lowen warming up in the bullpen. So a pitching change here at Chase Field. It's 6-3 in favor of the Diamondbacks. We'll be back with Adam Lowen right after this. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98 Phillies Fathead will be given out free to all fans on Saturday, August 29th when the San Diego Padres come to town. 13 by 26-inch removable wall graphic featuring Phillies logos and third baseman Maikel Franco. Tickets can be purchased for that series for the homestand by going to Phillies.com. Well, the amazing story of Adam Loewen continues as he will make his Phillies debut here tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Loewen, who was a former first-round pick by the Baltimore Orioles, picked as a pitcher, made it to the Orioles eventually in 2006 as a 22-year-old. Runner goes from first. The pitch is taken high. The throw to second is also high. So stole a base. And there are runners on second and third with one man down. Loewen spent 3 years in the big leagues with the Orioles, 2006, 7, and 8 as a pitcher, and then suffered a stress fracture in his arm. And because of that, the doctors didn't think he could pitch anymore. So he became an outfielder and made his way back to the big leagues with Toronto for a short period of time as an outfielder. Swing and a miss. It did not go all that well. He had some decent numbers in the minor leagues, but not great numbers in the big leagues. And his career, he thought, was going to be over with. And then all of a sudden, his arm was strong enough to sustain being a relief pitcher, and he decided to go back out on the mound. And here he is. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I mean, Murph, you talked to him the other day, and we've all got the chance to hear this conversation because we've all talked to him about it. I mean, he's just thankful to have a chance.
Yeah, his story, it really is a remarkable one, Tom. And, starting out as a pitcher, then a position player, then back as a pitcher. And you mentioned it. I asked him the other day. He decided to go back to pitching before the 2014 season. And, his agent put out there that he wanted to throw for some teams. And 4 teams showed up to the tryouts. No one decided to make a move on him. And then Pat Gillick decided to give him a chance, and he pitched for the Phillies, and he was signed. And I asked him at that moment, I said, did you realize that maybe that this was going to be your last chance? And he said, oh, I knew for a fact this was my last chance. And he pitched in the minor leagues, and he did okay. He wasn't really blowing anybody away. And then earlier this year, he got sent down to Reading and was working with a couple of the coaches down in Reading, and he said something clicked. And since then, it has been really good for Adam Loewen. And he's very excited about the way he's throwing the baseball now, and obviously very excited to be back in the big leagues.
Well, and he's excited about the slider. I mean, that's the big thing. The slider has been so good. You just saw it against the left-handers. They walked Goldschmidt intentionally. We did a little research on this. There have been a number of pitchers or position players that have transitioned to the other position and made it to the big leagues. Bob Lemon is one. Ron Mayhay is one.
Rick Ankiel.
Rick Ankiel was an excellent pitcher who all of a sudden couldn't find the strike zone, converted to being an outfielder, had a tremendous arm. Joe Savory, who the Phillies had in their organization, did the same thing.
And this is a tight slider. And to get a guy to fish after a pitch twice in the same at bat, it's a good out pitch.
Well, now they've got the lefty that they will face. It's David Peralta, who in the minor leagues made the same switch that Adam Loewen has made. Was a pitcher, switched to being a fielder. But Loewen's story is amazing because he did one, switched to the other, and then switched back. And we did a little research. Last time that happened was Johnny Lindell back in 1953, who started his career in the big leagues as a pitcher, threw 52 and a third innings in 1942, and then for the next 8 years was a position player, and then came back as a knuckleballer.
Of course he did.
2 balls, no strikes to Peralta. Bases are loaded. It's fouled back. 92 on that fastball. I don't know. I would think you have to be some kind of athlete. I mean, you did it, Ben. You transitioned to being a pitcher, but you got to be some kind of athlete to be able to do all this.
to have that stick-to-itiveness, to keep wanting to do that in your career. You know, once it's in your blood, and I told you, I miss it, but it's in your blood. It's hard to get out.
These base runners are the responsibility of Aaron Harang. It's 6-3, Diamondbacks on top. Little dribbler up the third base line. This will be a tough play. Franco barehands. He has no play. It's an infield hit, and it's 7-3 in favor of the D-backs. Well, there's not much you can do about that. Second RBI of the night for Peralta. It's his third hit, and the bases remain loaded. And Pete Buchanan's coming out. It's going to be a double switch. He's got DeFreitas warming up in the bullpen.
Just nothing you can do here. They've gotten to the Phillies with the long ball. And dink them in there as well.
So a pitching change and a switch at shortstop. Phillies trail at 7-3. Live baseball. That bat is up to the moment at any moment. With in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Well, the Diamondbacks 7 runs now on 13 hits. They've got the bases loaded. Andres Blanco comes on as part of a double switch. Justin DeFreitas will be the pitcher. DeFreitas 0-1, an ERA of 5.37. Slider in there, 0-1. Last at bat for Castillo.
Fastball out over the plate. And that ball is crushed to right center.
Well, over that yellow line. The ball's 1 strike. No balls, 2 strikes. That one's fouled away.
That's a short, compact, powerful swing, I'll tell you. everything's away.
There must be a game plan of something that they have on this, Ben. I mean, I agree with you. I think you got to get it in more. But it does seem like there's a game plan to pitch away, doesn't there?
I think 0-2 there, if you rush one up and in, even in at the belt, and then you double it up with a fastball for a strike. I just don't think he's going to be in there with you. I think his eyes going to be out over the plate.
That one's lined to the left field, a base hit. That may clear the bases. 2 are in. Peralta's around third. The ball gets away from Ashe. Cody better go get it because Castillo's on his way to third. 3-run score. It's 10-3 Diamondbacks.
Slider down and away. Again, Castillo out there with him. Goes out there and drives it down left field line. Cody, feet come out from underneath him.
Yeah. Four RBIs tonight for Wellington Castillo. That ties his career high. They scored it at a triple. A lot of triples tonight, Ben.
A lot of triples.
Now, Smonty Tomas homered 2 at-bats ago. He's also flied to left. And now the 0-2 pitch coming to him. Hits it the other way. Base hit. Another run will score. (11-3) in favor of the Diamondbacks. Phillies swept them in a 3-game series in Philadelphia. Doesn't look like there'll be a clean sweep here in Arizona because these guys are mashing right now. So they batted around in the 6th. And Chris Owings, who started the inning with a ground out to third, will be the batter. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. That one gets away from Ruiz, not too far though. That it's 2-0.
We saw the numbers in the open about the righties and how they're hitting the baseball. I mean, this is a perfect example of why their numbers are so good.
Yeah. And another one through the hole on the left side. Phillies aren't fooling anybody here tonight. And that is the 2nd hit of the night for Owings. That puts runners on first and second. Bob McClure is coming out. Talk to his right-hander. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we talk about game plans each and every series. You sit down with your pitching coach. Your catcher does. Your pitchers do it. And they talk about game plans. How are we going to approach this team? It does seem like, and maybe they're just off, but it does seem like the game plan is to go away to these right-handed hitters, and they're not biting. I mean, they're not blinking an eye.
Yeah, there's a couple times, maybe I can count on one hand that they've gone inside tonight.
Why wouldn't they go inside, do you think? Is there a reason you wouldn't go inside?
Well, obviously you have a game plan, but I tell you, I mean, it's at the point where these guys are diving, and they're putting good swings on the ball. There's just no fear. They're not getting cheated.
Yeah, 16 hits, 11 runs on 16 hits. Obviously, the Phillies haven't had many games like this since the All-Star break. Here's Ahmed. He's singled. Slider in there, 0-1.
Yeah, it's not going up there and trying to hit somebody or go head hunting. Just move feet. Just make them be aware that, hey, you know what? That side of the plate is mine as well.
Yeah, so they're not looking out over the plate.
Correct. And that pitch supposed to be in.
They just sailed out, but taken for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Change up there, I believe.
Well, that one came inside, and he just got a piece of it. He stays alive. Romack, who is a pinch hitter here in the 6th inning, may get another chance to bat if DeFreitas doesn't get the out here. One ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to shortstop. Blanco comes charging in. He's got it. And the side is finally retired. But 11 men come to the plate in the inning for the Diamondbacks. They score 6 runs. Wellington Castillo, 4 RBI night, 3 coming with a triple in this inning. Well, time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. That home run by Maikel Franco is a bright spot for the Phils. Not many, though, tonight, because the D-backs have scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings. They take an 11-3 lead. Aaron Harang, he allowed 8 earned runs in 5 1/3 here tonight. Ruby De La Rosa is the recipient of all these runs for the Diamondbacks. He's done. And the new pitcher is left-hander Andrew Chafin, who will take over as we begin the top of the 7th inning. Andres Blanco will lead it off. He came in as part of a double switch. And Andres takes a strike. It's 0-1. Chafin 5-0 with a 2.51 ERA. That one spun the other way. A base hit for Blanco.
Gets his hits, doesn't he?
He's having a heck of a year. That's his 28th hit. I mean, obviously he doesn't play a whole lot, but he's good in these spots, the double switch, and he's good as a bat off the bench. Chase Utley tonight is 1 for 2. Utley takes outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. What are you seeing from Chase over these last 4 days that he's played?
I see a more aggressive Chase Utley. I see a tighter swing, a more powerful swing. He's not just chopping at it. You know, before he was cutting a lot of balls, kind of like a slice in golf, just cutting the inside of the ball, not staying through it. But he's done that. I mean, again, it's a very, very small sample size. What we have to look at.
Foul tip, and it's 1-2. See, it's pretty good breaking pitches here from Chafin. Swing and a miss. So 3 straight breaking balls, and Utley strikes out. So 1 out here in the 7th. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Today's photo comes from Jay Bonner, 71. He says, how about this for a blast from the past? This is pretty cool. 1980 World Series ticket stubs and Phillies ticket taker name tag. That's a pretty cool one. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Philly Photo Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile.
That is pretty cool that he hung on to all of them.
Yeah.
Appreciate that photo. 2 outs. And Odubel Herrera is coming up. My, how things have changed. You see the style of those tags. Odubel extended his hitting streak to 13 straight. He's 1 for 3 tonight. His average of 291. Pulls that one to the right side. Picked up by Owings, who throws to first off the glove of Chafin. Over to third goes Blanco. And we'll see how they score that one.
Triple.
A triple for everyone except for you, Carlos Ruiz. I would think that's going to wind up being an E1 or maybe an E4.
I think it's going to be an E1. It's a good feed.
Yeah, he had it.
Catch the ball.
They do score at E1. So Franco is now up. 2 runners on base. Runner goes from first, and the pitch is a strike. 0-1. Odubel will get second base with the defensive indifference. And now second and third.
Michael's home run last time, 445 feet with an exit velocity speed of 107 miles an hour.
That exit velocity is used by a lot of teams now to tell or to determine whether they want to draft a specific player. Not every team uses it. The Cardinals use it an awful lot with a lot of the players that they take and pick up. They want to see that exit speed being, of that sort of speed right there. Ground ball to shortstop, picked up by Ahmed. Sure-handed infielder, and the side is retired. No runs, one hit, two men left, one error by the D-backs. Time to stretch here in Arizona. It's 11-3, Diamondbacks on top. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team, 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the official entertainment provider of the Philadelphia Phillies. Jared Saltalamacchia will be the pinch hitter for the Diamondbacks, and he takes a fastball for a strike from Justin DeFreitas. Saltalamacchia began the year with the Miami Marlins, was released by them. Ball got a piece of Saltalamacchia, so he's hit by a pitch, and he'll take his spot over at first. And A.J. Pollock will come up.
Center fielder A.J. Pollock.
Keith Hessler is the lefty warming up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, so he'll be coming on. Pollock has scored twice tonight. He's tripled, he's singled. Back to the screen, 0-1.
Still getting their rips in.
Chopper foul into the D-backs dugout. 16 hits for Arizona in this game. Each position player has a base hit tonight. That guy's had himself a whale of a night, falling through Castillo.
You get bonked in the head.
Yeah. Didn't seem to shake him. Foul ball, and it remains 0-2.
D-backs ball club has done a good job of fouling pitches off them. A lot of foul balls. Just getting a piece every now and again to prolong at bats and finally get a pitch that they can hit.
Runs charged to the line of Aaron Harang. 2 runs charged to the line of Adam Lowen. Unfortunately for Adam, he gave up that swinging bunt up the third base line. David Buchanan will go tomorrow. He'll try to calm this Diamondbacks offense down. In the dirt, gets away from Ruiz and shoots over toward the backstop. Up to second base goes Salt to Lamacchia. A wild pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Just hard. You don't have a put away pitch, or you don't seem to have a put away pitch tonight. Not only Justin, but also Aaron Harang. He just didn't have anything that would get a guy, flailing.
And that's what I'm talking about. They just seem to hang around, fight one off here, fight one off there until they get that pitch they're looking for.
In the air to left field. That is a shot. Ashe going back. It is gone. 2-run home run. Pollock now with a single, a triple, and a home run tonight. 13-3 Arizona. Well, this is just a good old-fashioned butt whipping right now. 12th home run of the year for A.J. Pollock.
The changeup. Not a good enough differential. The location wasn't that bad. It was down, but I think it was just a little too hard.
It was kind of floating.
Pollock out there with him. Good at bat. Give him credit.
So 17 hits now for the Diamondbacks. Here is Jake Lamb. Lamb takes a fastball for strike 1. Lamb tonight has singled, doubled, or excuse me, tripled, and walked. He has scored twice. Oh, and 2. Off the hands, off the mound. Blanco's got it. 1 away. And that'll bring Goldschmidt to the plate. Toyota Larry Boa Bobble figurine will be given out to all fans on Tuesday, August 18th at 7:05. That's when they take on the Toronto Blue Jays. It's a 2-game series. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Well, Goldschmidt will have the rest of the night off because Oscar Hernandez will come up as a pinch hitter. for the D-backs. Hernandez from Venezuela, Rule 5 pickup, was on the 60-day disabled list because he broke his hamate bone in spring training. Take strike one. It's 0-1. 143 average, no home runs, 1 run batted in. And he hooks this one to left field. Ashe reaches up, makes the catch. Boy, that ball jumped off his bat. Now there are 2 outs. Rule 5 pick out of the Tampa Bay Rays organization. Grew up playing with Freddie Galvis and Cesar Hernandez. Works out with them during the offseason. Here is Peralta.
That ball did jump off his bat.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. That one gets away from Ruiz. 2 balls, 1 strike. Way outside, 3-1.
Nobody warming up in the Phillies bullpen. This is a
Yeah, he's biting the bullet.
Biting the bullet, and hey, you're out there. You still got to go out there and try and do your job.
That ball is a rocket on 1 hop, flag down by Blanco. These guys are not getting cheated at all here tonight. They scored 2 more runs on a 2-run home run by A.J. Pollock. We'll go to the 8th inning. The Phillies down by 10.
Tonight's attendance is 60.
Use Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop Nissan.com. Phillies trail at 13-3 as Oscar Hernandez will take over behind home plate for the Arizona Diamondbacks. There's a new first baseman as well. Jared Saltalamacchia will be over at first base. The old first baseman is the subject of our Hyundai defensive plays of the game. And here they are. Paul Goldschmidt early on when this was a ball game He made some pretty good plays.
He did. He went and got some balls. Had a couple assists. This is the one that really stuck out to me. The 3-6-3 double play. And like you said earlier, Tom, he did it with ease. And they are your Hyundai defensive plays of the game. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Well, the new pitcher is Keith Hessler, another left-hander. So Hessler is on to face Dominic Brown. Fastball in there. It's 0-1. Three different levels in the minor leagues this year for Hessler. He was brought up when Oliver Perez was traded to the Houston Astros. Slider. Hessler is out of Coastal Carolina. As that pitch runs low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Drafted in the 28th round in 2010. Back toward the middle. Boy, Ahmed can pick it, can he?
Sure can.
Makes that play look easy. 1 out. Cody Ashley's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, Tom, thank you. Brought to you by St. Joseph's University. And the Boston Red Sox have lost their closer for the rest of the season. Koji Uehara was diagnosed with a non-displaced distal radius fracture in his wrist, which in layman's terms means it's broken. It happened when he was hit by a line drive. I know that. I looked it up. He was hit by a line drive earlier this week. He is out for the season. They do expect him to make a full recovery and be ready to go for next year. And as we've been telling you, David Wright is on schedule. He started his rehab assignment today down there in Port St. Lucie. It was his first game. He DH'd today, went 1 for 3 in that game. They're saying that he's going to need about 30 at-bats down at the minor league level before being able to come back up and rejoin the New York Mets. But what a jolt it will be of energy for the New York Mets to get David Wright back, their unquestioned leader, who has been out for a good part of the season with that spinal stenosis. But if he comes back, a first-place team that is, trying to win a division, trying to make it to the postseason, it certainly would help them, you would think, to get a guy like David Wright back in the lineup. So he's not that far away, maybe about 8 to 10 days before he rejoins that guy.
Yeah, he would kind of stabilize things on the left side of that infield. Ground ball to the right side of the infield here. There are 2 outs. That putout goes 5-3. That was the third baseman, Jake Lamb, who fielded that. Elvis Araujo is going to be the next pitcher for the Phillies because Darren Ruff is coming in as a pinch hitter. So an inning and a third for Justin DeFreitas. 4 hits, 3 earned runs. No walks, no strikeouts. Darren is scheduled to play on Wednesday afternoon, according to Pete McCannon. Getting a chance to get some ABs here. 1 ball, no strikes. Fly ball right field. Tomas is under it. And that'll do it for the Phils. They go down in order in their half of the 8th inning. Nothing across. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Commanding lead for the Diamondbacks. On the San Diego Padres. Enjoy the foods, music, and dancing of this annual event. Take part in a special live auction inside the first base gate. Proceeds benefiting Concilio in their efforts to provide social services in the Philadelphia Latino community. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. (13-3). Diamondbacks on top. Darren Ruff is over at first base. He'll take over for Chase Utley. Elvis Araujo will be the new pitcher, and he will face Ender Inciarte. Inciarte is having a good year, hitting .296, 3 home runs, 29 runs batted in. He just got tonight off. They say that he has been one of the reasons why the D-backs have been hitting well and playing well at times this year. Phillies had him for a short period of time as a Rule 5 selection.
There's not a whole lot to him, but fundamentally sound.
I think when the Phillies picked him up, he just wasn't ready for the big leagues.
Yeah.
You know, he was overmatched in a lot of ways with just the fastball.
98 games, he's got 102 hits.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out, one away.
The old backup slider.
Chip Hale said today that he will be in the starting lineup tomorrow. And now Yasmani Tomas, who's in the right field for him tonight. Tomas is 2 for 4 in this ball game with a home run, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. And now 2-0.
You never want to give up runs, but games like this are good opportunities to try different things. You know, there you see a 2-0 changeup to Tomas.
Games like this also, sometimes as a hitter, I would think your focus is off. This is where you sometimes give up at bats, and you can't give up at bats,
especially on the losing end.
3 balls, 1 strike. Way outside, ball 4. So Tomas draws a walk, and he's on base for the 3rd time. And Chris Owings is coming up.
You know, if you're on the winning end by a game margin of this much, most likely you have a couple hits. So if you do have 2, well, you want 3. If you have 3, you will want that 4th. You know, and then you go up there, the pressure's off. You know, you already have a couple in your pocket. Go up there, nice and easy, and hopefully get another one.
There's former Phil Tuffy Ghostwitch, who's on the disabled list for the Diamondbacks in the dugout, talking to Goldschmidt. 1 ball, no strikes to Chris Owings. He's 2 for 4. He doubled his first time up, singled his last time up. Phillies set up to try to turn 2. Ground ball foul. Foul ball, and it remains 2-2. Ball got a piece of the home plate umpire, Bill Miller. Swing and a miss. He got him. He's down on strikes. First base is occupied. Second strikeout for Araujo. And with 2 away, here is Nick Ahmed, who has 1 hit tonight in 4 at bats. He's also scored a run. Ahmed out of UConn.
It's got to be tough playing spring baseball at UConn. I know they'll have a spring trip. We'll go down to Florida, but even when you come back in April, it can't be fun.
Got to be a very good recruiter too, to get kids to stay in the Northeast and play there. One ball, no strikes. At the knees. And it's 1-1. Is that a cutter from Araujo?
It sure looked like it. At 89, a few miles per hour slower than his regular fastball.
They appeal the check swing. He went, says Doug Eddings. And now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That one a slider. Maybe. I guess he did. 13-3. He definitely did.
Fly ball right field. Dominic Brown comes running in. This will be a tough play. He gets to it and he makes the catch. Side is retired. No runs, no hits, and 1 man left. Last chance for the Phillies as we go to the top of the 9th inning. They trail at 13-3. Deliveries of the game, and they have been plentiful for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Wellington Castillo to right center, 431 feet. Then down the left field line to score 3 more runs. A total of 4 RBIs for Wellington Castillo, and they are your WB Mason deliveries of the game.
Overall, 13 runs, 17 hits for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So now as they go to the top of the 9th inning, Josh Colmenter will be the new pitcher for Arizona. And he will face Carlos Ruiz, Andres Blanco, and the top of the order for the Phils. Top of the order will be the pitcher's spot. Might see Jeff Francoeur getting at bat. Maybe Ryan Howard.
Cole Mentor like the old Iron Mike machine, straight over the top.
And he has to mix his speeds up in order to be somewhat successful. His ERA 4.35. 27th ball game. He has started some this year. 0-2. Cole Mentor was the opening day starter for the Diamondbacks. That one is floated out towards center. Owings says he has it. One away. After the game, Ricky Bo delivers his analysis and a full breakdown of tonight's Phillies Diamondbacks game only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live. What do you do in a game like this in the postgame show, Ben?
Well, it'll be a quick one, I'm sure. It'll be a quick one.
Sportsnet Central coming up right after postgame live. Andres Blanco takes strike one. It's 0-1.
I know one thing they will show, and that's that Michael Franco home run.
Break it down. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, there haven't been many clunkers for the Phils since the All-Star break, as we mentioned. They came in 16-5 to this ball game since the break. Fly ball left field. Ahmed, the shortstop, is out, and he makes the catch for the second out. 2 away. Phillies have now watched Diamondbacks pitching retire the last 6 batters. And Cole Mentor will face Jeff Francoeur.
Pitch hitting for Elvis Serrano, number 3, Jeff Francoeur.
Two. The 0-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen, and it remains 0-2.
Cole Mentor really just pounding everybody in.
The Phillies and the Diamondbacks will be back at it again tomorrow. 9:30. We'll be on Comcast Sportsnet. David Buchanan against Jeremy Hellickson. As to try to even up this series. No balls, 2 strikes to Francoeur. Outside, 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? No, says Doug Eddings. 2-2. Breaking ball and a called strike 3. That's the first pitch of that kind that he's thrown in this inning, and he freezes Jeff Francoeur. And the Phillies go down in order in the 9th inning. A resounding win by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Wellington Castillo was a big reason why they were able to walk away with a 10-run victory here tonight. His home run, 3-run triple, helped spark this offense, along with A.J. Pollock, who was 3 for 5 with a triple, a home run, and 2 runs batted in. It's amazing in the 5th inning. This was a ball game. But the Diamondbacks blew it open. They win at 13-3. We'll be back to Arizona to wrap things up right after this.